Let me welcome you to the 18th lecture of NPTEL online certification course Underground Mining of Metalliferous Deposits. We are continuing with the underground development works, and we will start our horizontal drivages first lecture on this topic. So, you understand horizontal drivages means all the drivages which are made in the underground, but those are essentially horizontal in nature. That means, the inclination of the drivages are kept as low as possible. A light inclination is given for the draining purpose, but in general we consider it is a flat. So, this horizontally as the openings are extended. So, these constructions are called horizontal drivages, construction of horizontal drivages, and you understand this is basically adit, cross cuts, drift, drives, these all are considered as the horizontal drivages. So, before going into the details of this, let us once look into the learning background required for the students who will take this online NPTEL online certification course. These are the expected learning outcomes of this course, and these are the text and reference books, and these are the learning objective of these lectures. There are 4 lectures on the NPTEL online certification course of this particular topic, construction of horizontal drivages. So, on horizontal drivages there are 4 lectures. This is the first lecture of that, and the objective of these 4 lectures are set as to understand the construction method of this of horizontal openings, namely drift, drive, crosscut, adit, etc. To learn different unit operations associated with the construction, and to understand the factors affecting the choice of construction methods. So, let us first understand one by one the construction methods, but before that we have already discussed in the terminology section, but let us understand what is drivages. Drivages in general terms is a roadway, heading or tunnel in course of construction. It may be horizontal or inclined, but not vertical, is called drivages. So, it is there may be a little bit inclination given, but it is horizontally driven, this horizontal drivages, and these are of different types. If the opening is made in the mine, it is called as a drift. Okay. So, in drift is a generic name for all this horizontal or sub horizontal development openings are in general called drift. So, whenever we are call it a cross cut, basically it is a cross measure drift also it is called. So, the cross cuts are basically the connections between the shaft to the ore body, and drift are the opening parallel to the ore body, but made in the waste rock. Drive is the horizontal opening along the ore body along its strike direction, and these are the different names considered for the horizontal openings. Drift in general running parallel to the ore body, we have already discussed. For drive, it is in the ore body we are considering, and we classify the construction method in 2 parts. One is the drilling and blasting technique, another is the mechanical cutting method, and these are basically considered as the continuous and discrete method of excavation. So, if we are looking at that perspective, we can consider if it is a discrete method of excavation for horizontal opening, then it is a drilling, blasting, loading, transportation. If it is a continuous method, then it is a continuous mechanized excavation and simultaneous loading transportation system, and if it is a semi continuous, then continuous excavation with discrete loading transportation, or drilling, blasting, sizing, etc., then continuous transportation. In general, in mining we are having this discrete method available with us. This continuous method is also available with us, and in general we sometimes we can use continuous excavation method along with the discrete transportation system, but in general this is not practiced in Indian mining condition, where the sizing machine is used, so that the blasted material can be made as the conveyable size. So, these are not in general used, but you can understand we are having this discrete, continuous and semi continuous methods. So, that means one is that in which we carried out excavation in drilling blasting technique, that is the discrete excavation, or we can use some continuous cutting machines in which we can excavate the material. So, in consideration that, let us start with the first method, but before that let us understand what is drilling and blasting. It is a very short video of 60 seconds. So, suppose you consider this is the phase in which you have to carry out the drilling. So, you are using a drill machine to carry out the drilling at different positions. So, you are carrying out drilling based on your drilling pattern, then you are loading those holes with your explosive, then you are connecting those explosive, then blast the rock mass. Then the fragmented rocks are taken by using some excavator, and excavator can load that onto that, and after that you have to go for supporting this. So, you use different supporting material, so that the roof will not dislodge to them. So, this is a shotcrete support system is showing here, and then again you go for the next phase of drilling. So, this is the general cycle practiced in a drilling blasting methodology of excavation of horizontal drivages. So, this is another video you can see, this is animated video. This one I am showing you because this is showing you for horizontal drivages those ventilation ducts. You can see this jumbo drill, this is 3 boom jumbo drill is being used, and simultaneously 3 holes can be drilled here, and this is the charging is carried out. Simultaneously a number of holes are being charged. See, this is the loading is carried out with bulk loading explosive. Say ventilation duct is there, then you have carried out blasting. So, after blasting, this blasted rock mass is scattered here. You can see low profile dump truck is there. This is loading machine load hole dump, LHD is used. LHD is taking the material, dumping the material onto the low profile dump truck, and dump truck is taking that material. Then after this, again the stabilization of the roof is carried out, any loose material in the roof is taken out, and then the drilling is carried out for the bolting purpose. And after bolting, you can go for shotcreting or concreting, whatever is the practiced supporting system is there, that is basically practice. So, this is again shotcrete, which is very commonly used in tunnel, is being shown here, and this is mechanized rock bolting is showing how the bolts are placed. So, this is rock bolting is carried out, again it is a 3 boom rock bolter. And this is the earth support, fixing of earth support is being carried out. So, these are different support system which are used. Though in mining in general we use this is another feature which is in general used for a tunnel drift or tunnels of large dimension, where this is two phase working is carried out. One is the front phase and second phase the heightening of the tunnel is carried out by the benching method. So, this is benching technique is adopted here. So, drills are carried out and then blasting is carried out, and by this way this is the benching excavation is carried out. This will give the desired bench height, desired excavation height of the horizontal opening. So, in a nutshell, we can consider the discrete method of horizontal Drivages excavation consists of drilling, blasting, loading and hauling, scaling, reinforcing. Okay. And along with that, other auxiliary works are also there. Those are auxiliary operations, that is the extension of the ventilation duct, electrical line, compressed air line, water line, drainage establishment. So, all these are basically auxiliary work needs to be carried out either after each cycle or after a few number of cycles, this can be carried out. So, our first job is the drilling. So, drilling is basically carried out to provide a space for the explosive to enter into the rock mass. So, first drilling is carried out. So, drilling can be two types, manual drilling, mechanized drilling. In case of manual drilling, generally handheld drilling tools are used, and these are handheld drilling tool, and these are used, and that is why the small size drill length generally 1 to 2.5 meter maximum this, and often it is kept less than 2 meter. So, that can be easy for drilling for the drill operators. So, these are the length of drill is being carried out, and you can see these are the different handheld drill machines. So, for doing it horizontally or doing it in upward direction, generally pusher legs are used, so that the weight can be taken by the pusher legs. These are either electrically operated or it is pneumatically operated drills are available. So, these are the handheld electric drill. This is internal combustion rock drill, where a diesel engine is provided here itself or battery is provided sometimes. So, this is electrically operated. So, this is one drilling video where pusher leg and this compressed air drill is used with the pusher leg for carrying out horizontal drilling. So, this is the way the drilling is carried out with a manual drill machine. Nowadays, mechanized drills are available, where the drilling rig is mounted on a machine, and these are comfortable for the operators. Operator only needs to select the button and the drilling is automatically carried out. And the problem with the manual drilling was that often because of the ignorance of the operator, the proper length could not be drilled, or at proper angle the drilling cannot be carried out. That is avoided in the mechanized drilling. So, mechanized drilling is basically a fast drilling method. So, these are some of the videos taken from the YouTube. So, this is called jumbo drill. This is twin boom jumbo. You can see there are two booms available with this, and the drilling is carried out. See, automatically the drilling is carried out. Operator is just selecting the buttons and operating with a very small joystick. So, operator is very comfortable. In fact, a 3 boom jumbo, 4 boom jumbo, these are n number of jumbo drills are available of different types. The benefit of this, as these are hydraulically these operations or electrically these operations are controlled, that is why the proper angles, these proper angles can be maintained very easily, even if which is very difficult to control in the manual positioning. Those are, that is, it can be drilled in the roof also, it can be drilled in the floor also. So, it can drill in 360-degree angle. That is the main benefit of this manual drilling machine. So, angles are very accurate for mechanized drills, and the proper full length drilling is carried out because it is automatically selected by the machine. So, in between it will not stop. The movement is often diesel operated also. This is tire mounted, but during drilling it stands on the skids. So, this is in general the mechanized drilling. This mechanized drilling benefits very accurate drilling. When the drive size is very high, you can see this is a 3 boom jumbo. When the drive size is very high, rock is very hard, in those cases manual drilling, large drift, hard rock, in these cases manual drilling is very difficult. And in those cases these mechanized drill machines are adopted. So, this can be depending on the size, etc. So, most of the mechanized drill machines are diesel powered rubber tired vehicle for their movement, but drilling is in general carried out by the compressed air or hydraulic fluid or electrically, and those are operated very easily, almost computer controlled, and 38 to 64 mm diameter drilling is carried out in the handheld drill machines, handheld drill machines or mechanized drill machines also, but with a reaming bit you can go up to 100 mm dia also for the mechanized drill rig. After drilling, the charging is carried out. We have already seen how the charging is carried out, and then the blasting is practiced in the phase. In general, we are using two types of blasting pattern. One is wedge cut, another is band cut. Wedge cut is basically the parallel hole cut, is basically the angled hole cut. In fact, the details of this wedge cut and band cut design are discussed in the lecture of drilling and blasting technology. Blasting technology of NPTEL course. So, participant can go through those lectures available there in drilling and blasting technology course. So, in wedge cut, the horizontal wedges are made with the angle drilled. This is basically plan view, and these are the sectional view which shows the horizontal drilling is carried out. So, this first one is wedge is formed. So, after blasting this one, a free face is generated here like this, and then this free face is being extended with the next blast, and it is finally taking the proper periphery charge with the final periphery holes. So, this is the wedge cut blasting. In general it is practiced, while in case of band cut blasting all the holes are made parallel holes, and you can see this is the front view, this is plan view, this is sectional view. So, all the holes are made parallel, but horizontal parallel holes are made, but a large dia hole is placed which is kept empty. So, basically this large dia holes is kept empty, that is acting as the free face for the near one, and in that case the progress of the holes are like this. So, gradually these are extended like this, and the complete area is being blasted. Now, this is the band cut technique. The difference between wedge cut and band cut is that in wedge cut, as the craters are gradually extended, the charge requirement is very less, whereas here charge requirement in the initial part is very high, because the confinements are much higher in case of band cut. But the problem is that as it is a angle drilling is carried out, the length of this drilling length is depending the width of the face available. So, you can understand in this case B1 is basically, if this is considered as a L cos theta. So, theta is 60 degree as it is shown here. So, then you can consider the 2 into B1 plus B2 plus B3 is equal to width. So, if this is the width, so as B1 is L cos theta, so that means 2 into L cos theta plus B2 and B3, these are the burdens of the consecutive holes, is equal to W. So, W is basically depending on the L and theta. So, that is why as our W is design fixed, W is fixed, we know our width of the drivages is W. So, this L is basically depending as this is the dependency. So, that is why we cannot go for increased L if we are practicing the wedge cut pattern, but here the length of drilling is not depending on the width of the deposit, because all the holes are drilled parallel. So, that is why this L is not depending on that, but L is depending on the diameter of this empty hole, and that is why theoretically band cut can be practiced for infinite long length, but practically it is not possible, but accordingly we have to design our diameter of this empty hole has to be designed that also. So, this is the consideration, and that is why where the faster development is required, especially for underground developmental work, drift, drive, in those cases we want to complete it as early as possible. In fact, by end of this lectures we will solve one problem related to that, because unless and until this developmental work will complete, we cannot start our excavation work for the deposits. So, unless and until deposit is excavated and sold in the market, we cannot get the return value. So, that is why we want to excavate the deposit at the earliest possible time, and for doing that we want that faster development has to be carried out. So, we generally try to opt for the L as large as possible. So, which is not possible in case of wedge cut, but that can be possible with the burn cut, and that is why burn cut is a very popular method of blasting pattern practiced in the horizontal drivages. So, these are the advances obtained per round, and these are the terminology. In fact, all these are available with the drilling and blasting technology course of NPTEL. So, the cut, this is called cut area, this is cut spreader area, this is topping area, and these are the contour area, this is roof contour, this is floor contour, this is wire contour. These are the terminology. We are not going into the details of blasting, because that is already covered in drilling and blasting technology course. So, this is one short video of the blasting. So, you can see this is an animated video. Consider these are the empty holes and these are the charged holes. So, explosives are placed in the charged holes, empty holes are kept empty, those will act as the free face for the nearest charge holes. Then the explosive is provided, you can see the pipe charges are provided here. Sometimes packed cartridges are also used, and these are the detonators are inserted, then it is blasted. So, in animation you can see the blasting. So, this is the shock wave is propagated in the blasting, rocks are fractured, then with the gas energy rocks are thrown in the front. So, this is the blasting is practiced. This is if the benching is carried out for the remaining part. So, that bench blasting is practiced here. So, this is the bench blasting for the remaining part. And this video is also showing different safety and precautionary arrangement. This is available in the YouTube, and that can be referred for the further study. So, this is drilling and blasting practice in the underground horizontal drivages, but two more operations are required, that is loading and transportation, and the other auxiliary operations are also there in manual in drilling and blasting method of excavation of the horizontal drivages. We will discuss this in the next class. Thank you.